Hey guys, I'm gonna start a new thing here called What's Up Wednesdays. So, what's up? What's up? There we go. Anyways, what's up Wednesday today? Well, the topic of conversation is what we dealt with last night, and that is tornadoes, and particularly weather. So, whether living in an RV full time, there's a lot of different things to take into account. What's the wind, the rain, the temperatures? Is it hot? Is it cold? Do you have shade where you are? Do you have trees? Other things to think about. But what we learned here recently, we traveled from Arizona through New Mexico to Texas to Arkansas to Tennessee to Kentucky to West Virginia and then to Ohio. When we were in Arizona and told people we were going to Texas, they're like, oh, you're going to Texas in the spring. That's a bad time to be in Texas due to the storms and tornadoes and things like that. So we're like, oh no. Ooh. So meanwhile, we're watching the weather and our kids are communicating with us back in Ohio, and Ohio is getting slammed with storms and some tornadoes. One tornado in particularly, not far from where we're at now in Wapakoneta, went through Indian Lake and annihilated a trailer park or campground and some other stuff. So that being said, when we were in Texas, we had some storms, a little bit of hail, but nothing major. Ran through some storms in Arkansas. We got back to Ohio, went to a daughter's graduation, got up here to Wapakoneta, and we spent about an hour, a little longer last night in the women's bathhouse, sitting in one of the shower stalls because of the tornado warning. Our daughters, several of our children, had reached out to us and said, hey, there's tornadoes in the area, storms coming through, be prepared. Earlier in the day, I had filled up the fresh water tank so that we'd have more weight in our RV to hopefully keep our RV upright in case things got really bad. I also closed the gray water tanks from the washer. My wife had run a load of laundry, so there was water in the back tank, and in the front tank it got showers, so there was water in there. So we had a lot of water weight on board to try to help stabilize our RV in case things got really bad. In the point of the tornado warning, we realized, where do we go? There's a truck stop not far from here. Do we go to the truck stop? Where do we go? Things you sometimes don't think about, you should think about. The security guy said they're heading over to the bathhouse, so that's a pretty normal place to go. So we packed some stuff up and headed over there. Brings it to the point one is, if you're in an area that's going to have bad weather, prepare for that. Have your shoes ready, your clothes ready, anything you want to take with you, important documents, your safe, anything you think you need. Your dog, for instance. We took the dog with us, so we were sitting there with the dog. Any of that stuff. Also, have your weather alerts turned on your phone. They will generally work and let you know. You may not have a huge warning, but usually let you know when the tornado warnings happen or the bad weather's coming. We also have these walkie-talkies. We can turn them to weather radio, and we can listen to the weather radio, the NOAA weather radio. Our daughter's got some of these. I'm not sure what brand they are, fairly cheap, but a lot of the walkie-talkies you can do that with. You can also get a weather alert radio that it'll go off if bad weather is predicted in your area. That's a good thing to have just in case you're out of range of cell towers or the storm. Like last night, during the heart of the storm, we lost almost all cell reception. We couldn't get anything because the rain was so bad and the lightning was so intense. Come to today, we found out the tornado was 7 miles from us. So it was down the road about 7 miles, so that's a little closer than we want to be. But it brought up the topic that we needed to talk about, being prepared for the weather. So, when you go check into a campground, find out where their emergency station is, where you should go and if there's a tornado or some inclement weather, that you have a plan. Some places are prone to flooding, if down in Florida or some other places along the rivers and things like that. you want to check out and find out if they're prone to flooding, because if you have a lot of rain, like we did yesterday, there was flooding here, but it wasn't bad. It was more like puddles. But had this campground had ravines, there could have been really bad flooding. But I have some pictures that I'll throw up there that, you know, the flooding around, but it was basically just big puddles, but it could be worse. So you make yourself aware of those things. I did pack a little cooler with some drinks, just, you know, in case. I wasn't sure how long we were going to be gone or what was going to happen, so I want to be prepared. But when you get in a campground, you know, find out the emergency numbers, find out where to evacuate to if there's bad weather or things coming through, and prepare for that. I moved the truck closer to the RV because we had to park in overflow parking before that to prepare, that kind of stuff. In the winter, we had been up here in Ohio, in Lebanon, Ohio, when we were camping, so we had to keep an eye on for forecast for snow to make sure we had food and plenty of propane. We had to have the propane ahead of time. We put a little bit of skirting underneath. At times it got so cold, you know, down in single digits, we were taking rugs and shoving them every crack and crevice we could find. But we were doing those things to prepare. We also had fuel in our RV. We have a toy hauler, we have a generator, so we had fuel in there, so if power went out, we could fire up our generator and then power up our heater and stuff. Those are all things to think about, and think about, you know, if you're snowed in, or in this case, if you have tornadoes coming through, or hailstorms, or what have you, what is going to be your response to that? So, I was talking about before traveling from Arizona to Ohio and people talking about the tornadoes in Texas. So I looked up to find out how many average tornadoes they have in Ohio per year. On average, they have 22. This year, I think they've blown that number out of the water already. I think they're 50 something or whatever, I'm not sure. But they said Texas has on average 137 or 31, anyways. So then to find out the averages, to find out how those compare, they seem like extreme numbers and difference. So I found out how many times could you fit Ohio, the size of Ohio, into Texas, and it's 6 times. So if you divide that 137 by 6, you come to like 22.8. So guess what? Ohio, you know, ratio-wise, has about the same amount of tornadoes as Texas. That's something to think about. Anyways, when you're traveling to different areas, be aware of where you're traveling to. Be aware of their weather conditions and how quickly they can change. Also be aware of wildlife, snakes, insects, other things like that. Even greenery, poison ivy, poison oak, sumac, you know, different things. If you don't know what they are and you get into them, you're going to have a bad week. So, anyways, as you travel around, be aware of your environment, be aware of what you're going into. Be aware of the seasons. We were in Florida last year in September. Our friends and family that we went to visit, because that's the time we had available, like, we're coming to see you, and they're like, in hurricane season? Are you crazy? And it turned out okay. We got stuck underneath a tropical storm for a few days, which was torrential downpours, but it worked out all right. No hurricanes. But just be aware as you're traveling around the country, whether you're going on vacation, you're full-time or part-time or sometime or weekend or whatever, be aware of the weather conditions and the forecast. Also, if you're traveling out west, even when there's not storms, there's a thing called a windstorm. It is a real thing. So if you're traveling out west, past Texas, when you get into Texas or so, or beyond there mostly, you want to have an app. We use MSN Weather. It has a weather alert you can put on the map, and then I can look at the wind. We also use look at Windy to see how the winds are flowing, to decide when we're going to travel. Going out to Arizona, we left Ohio early because there were forecasts of ice, sleet, freezing rain, and snow. And then when we were in Texas, we left around the Glen Rose, Texas area early because there was forecast high winds up through the western side of Texas into New Mexico. And when we're talking strong winds, we're talking, you know, it can be 50-mile-an-hour winds with up to 60, 70, 80, 90-mile-an-hour gusts. So you want to be aware of those things, because that will flip you over. And if you catch yourself on a road, things seem shaky, and you're unsure, get off the road and check it. If not, look around and see what the truckers are doing. If they're slowing down, slow down. It's better to get there safe than it is not to get there at all. So anyways, I just want to bring it to your attention that as RVers, we have to keep an eye on the weather, and we have to prepare for those things and make sure our friends and family are aware of where we're at. Our kids knew where we're at. My wife communicates with them regularly, more so than I do. I try to communicate with them as much as I can, but you know, I'm still working full time too. But my wife keeps them up to date, all the family, where we're at. And if they see weather coming through, they'll text us and they'll say, hey, look, you got storms coming your way. I don't know if you want to move or what your plan is, but be aware storms are coming in. And then, you know, we keep up to date with them, check them. If we see something, we text them or call them and say, hey, storms are coming your way. But if we all do that for each other, we'll all turn out safe and things will be better. So just wanted to bring it to your attention on this What's Up Wednesday. To just be aware of the weather and have a plan. Anyways, if you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much, but have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.